Hello again, and thank you for joining Jeff and Jenny's Classic Restorations. Well, it's now a damp, miserable late November day, so I'm just going to make a start on this little project. I hope you do enjoy it. The Seat Ibiza is now back in the hands of my son for a while, and whilst we wait to get his Scirocco fixed, turned out to be apparently the drive shaft has broken the gearbox with a hole in it, so I've ordered a second-hand gearbox and a new clutch. Hopefully that will sort that problem out. So that's going to be, I think my friend mechanic is going to come around on the 12th, and we're going to do that together and get that Scirocco hopefully back on the road again. So as I mentioned, we do have a little project. Here's a classic thing. The older viewers will remember these things from the Roadworks. We're going to convert it basically. It's if we can get it open, it's a paraffin. It's all works still, but I'm going to clean that up and we're going to convert it to an LED. I've ordered a flickering LED bulb, so it should look quite nice in there as if it's still with paraffin. So we'll get that inside and see how we get on. Before we carry on, I might as well just show you this. For those who watched my diesel paraffin heater, I had lots of advice about making that hole a little bit bigger, which it now is, and it's now wrapped with this heat retardant silver, and it's in a much bigger hole now, so it's I don't get that burning wood smell. And just put a little plate there to finish it off, and this little protective basket so no one goes and leans against it and burns themselves. So just a little update on that one. So I'm just letting the shed warm up, so I will switch off the heater before we get going, and it should be nice and warm in there. And just on the inside here now, I've done away with the battery now, and that can be used for emergencies if there's no power. But I've got a little transformer in there now that brings it down to 12 volts, and the heater now is just, as you see, it's just switching off. It is quite noisy, but it's lovely and toasty warm in here now, so that's enough. So I'll get on and show you this lamp once this is switched off. Won't be too long. Well, that's just about gone off now, so let's just quickly show you what needs to be done here. The actual paraffin holder is actually quite good condition, so that one I'll just probably sand down. I might powder coat it, but so that all this will come out, the wick's still in there, so give all that a clean. Now the plan is with this, just by coincidence this has just arrived, this is the LED light which I'm going to somehow fix in there, and that is a flickering light, so hopefully that will look a little bit like it had paraffin in there. And I've also got this little LED driver which brings it down to 12 volts, but it's only for 1 to 3 watts, which is like that. So that's a bit later on. What I do plan to do with this is basically strip this down, the lights area with the white. There's not much I can do. I'm going to have to take that off. I'll sand all this back, and then I'll have to paint that and mask the light off, the glass. But what I'm going to do with the actual body of it, I'm going to remove the door, remove the lenses out of there, and I'm going to just send this one away. I used to have a powder coating, what did I have? The media blasting cabinet, but to be honest, for me it was more trouble than it was worth. I was cleaning it more than I was using it, so I'm actually going to send this away. It's a local company just around the corner that will just sandblast that quite quickly, and that will get inside done, get rid of the old smoke remains from the paraffin, and we can get that sanded down and then powder coat that, get these lights painted, come up with an idea of doing this flickering light business, and that'll be nice, a nice man cave thing I'll hang up somewhere. So let's just quickly start by taking these lenses out and the door off, and then I'll get it sent away. We'll try and get this little hinge bit off first. I'll just spray some, of course this doesn't work, does it, anymore? I need to get some penetrating oil down there. I might use a little bit of ACF 50. Bear with me 1 second. Just try and get that down the down inside a bit. something down that end, and that should hopefully help it come out. Right, so I'm just going to use this just to try and drift it out. Hopefully it will come out alright. I'm going to have to move you back a bit because it's going to hit the camera. You can still see from there. There we go. Right. Let's see if we can get that pulled out or something. I have to go for the mould whips maybe, but let's just try this to start with. No. Bear with me, I'll find something just to knock this out just a little bit longer. I've decided to go for the mould whip idea, which seems to be working. There we go, there we are. Right, good. Well, so obviously that's the door sorted. Right, now inside here, I don't know if you can see, let's find a torch. Inside there you can see there's little tabs that need to be bent back, which is going to be easier said than done inside, but that will actually release these lenses and the surrounds, which will just leave that a bare body then, so we can get that sandblasted. So okay, so I'm going to try and start getting these tabs out and get the lenses out. They're not that tough, these tabs. I just got started with a Stanley knife just to get it going, but of course this is the hardest bit. It's going to get around the back, isn't it? So let's see if we get on with this one. Okay, that should do. Now you're not going to be able to see all this, are you? So I'll carry on, and there's 4 tabs each lens, and I'll get on and get those out. Well, there we go, there's all the lights out now, the lenses. I've just noticed, I didn't notice it when I got it, but I noticed there's a slight crack in there, but hopefully we won't notice too much. So what I need to do now is get these all cleaned up and polished, and then this will all be masked off, and I'll sand this down and paint those with just normal paint. And the rest of the body now, I'll give it all a good wash, and then send it away to be sandblasted, which will give us a good base for powder coating, and also send the doorway with it. And this one I can just clean up and maybe powder coat it silver or grey or something. So we'll leave it there for now. This has got to be sent away, and I'll come back to you once this is all done. Hello again and welcome back. This is actually about a week and a half later now. It's absolutely freezing out there. They forecast snow today, but I finally got this back yesterday from the sandblasters, and I've gone over now with the little Dremel thing and just smooth all those little bits off. And I'll go over with some acetone in a minute, and obviously need to paint the door as well. I'm not going to show you that, it's absolutely miserable out there now, and I'm going to have to try and support this on the oven rack without it falling off, and try and powder. So I won't film that. You've seen some of my powder coating videos before, but hopefully we can show that once it's out the oven, all being well. And the little lenses, I cleaned them all up the other day, and what I've done is gone around with some hammerite on the inside, which is now dry, and then I'll be painting those white when we can for the outer rim. The only problem I've had is, I think I mentioned on the last video, that it's got a crack in it, and when I was washing the glass and this the other day, I was just going over with my hand or finger and scratched it on there, and it pulled the glass out and dug into my finger, which is still sore, but it didn't stop bleeding that day. So just a little plea, if anyone does have one of these that's absolutely awful condition or something, but the lenses are okay, I'm more than happy to pay. If you've got a spare lens, I'm going to carry on for now with it and get it working. But if you do have a spare one of these, without me buying a whole new unit, I'll be very grateful. So I'm going to get on, powder coat this now, just go with some acetone, clean it up, and then hopefully the next bit will be after it comes out of the oven, hopefully looking good. Well, there we go, fresh out of the oven. Very happy with it, apart from one little bit. There's always something, isn't there? It was difficult to hang this up in the oven, so I had to powder coat it first, and then hold it by the handle, then fix it into the oven, onto the oven trays, and then go and spray the handle afterwards. Well, it's okay, it's just that I could have done with a little bit more powder on there. But generally, I'm quite pleased with that. That's okay. The door I did at the same time, that's come out nice and smooth as well. And so it's a bit of a miserable day. I was gonna powder coat this, but I'm gonna see if that polishes up, because I think it obviously was at one stage. And then get these painted, but I'll try and do that over the next day or so. But got some white paint for that. And as I say, please, if anyone's got a spare one of them, I'd love one of them for that broken lens. Thank you. Right, okay, so I'll come back to you a bit later on. Hello again, and back again after a few days. Just trying to get ahead with a few things due to the weather. It's absolutely freezing. In the end, I decided to go for the powder coating, and I just thought, I know it wasn't original, but this is going to be a sort of showpiece in here. So I thought that would actually go quite nicely with the red gold. So I've done that. I also was wondering how I was going to do the fix the bulb in. Well, obviously this is the original. I did clean that up a little bit. I will keep that obviously because I want to keep it, so it could be used again. But what I came up with was the idea. I was looking for some wooden dowel, but they wanted to charge the earth for it, so I bought a broom handle and just cut the top off, and I just drilled a smaller hole all the way through, which allows the wires to come through. Sorry, the camera switched off there. Okay, so I've drilled a small hole all the way through so we can get the wires through, and then I've also drilled a slightly bigger hole which allows me to put the holder for the bulb in there, and that does fit in there just about perfectly, so I can adjust the size or height as well. So what I'm going to try and do now, these are also these are all done now, painted white obviously, and just got to take that off, try and fit those in a little while. So I'm just going to have a go and see if we can get this, just a little tester first, make sure this does work, this bulb, before we start wiring things up. And also just going to drill a little hole in the bottom there for the wire to come up through and into there. So I'm just going to first of all just put this plug on. I'll change that to a 3 amp. We'll get that on, and then I was hoping to take this apart, but they're actually soldered in there, so I'll just leave it. So I can put the plug straight onto there, and then I'll cut this, and then I've got some more wire which can go along into the lamp. So let me get the plug on and I'll come back to you. Well, hello again. I'm back again next day. I've done a little bit of a bulb test on my LED I bought, came from China, and didn't work at all. Whether it's to do with the voltage or not, whatever. I've got this LED driver. It brings it down to 12 volts. 3 kilowatts or 3 watts, 3 to 1 watts. So I think that would be okay, but it just didn't work, and I tried it with a few 12 volt bulbs, and it did work with those. So I've gone and got this thing from Tool Station. It is an LED. I have tested it out again, and now it flickers. It's not supposed to, like the other bulb was, but we'll go with it and see what it looks like. And yesterday, whilst everything had gone wrong, I've managed to get the glass in, so that's done. I've got a little hole drilled in the front there, or at the back where the door goes, and so I'm just going to try and get these this sorted out now. We get the door at the end, at the end. So I've already cut some wire back here to go through the hole there. I think what I'm going to do is feed it through. We'll work backwards, so I'm going to try and bring this wire through here with a little hole. The little tank does still fit in. and I've got a little bit of this sheathing on here to protect it through the hole there. Okay. Right, so all we need to do now is just to strip these two wires back a bit. Should do. Okay, and then connect it to these. In fact, it might be worth stripping them back a bit as well. Okay, right, I'm just going to get some heat wrap here and solder those together and then join them up with this. Be back in 1 second. Okay, so these are now wrapped together, and just solder these together a bit. Okay, I think that's all right. Let's see if we can slide this over. There we go. Almost. Okay, I'll get that moved back a bit, and I'll do the same with the other one, and we can hopefully try and get it in this side. Okay, so there now, I've got this heat protector on there now, and it's now soldered. So this is probably going to be a problem. Will this fit in with these wires? Well, we'll soon find out when we. I should have cut maybe a little groove out of the out of this wood, but let me just put it down here a minute. Might be alright. Yeah, I think that's got it. Okay, right. Now we need to try and slide this in. It won't go in with the larger sheath on there, but it will once it's in. So there we go. That's in there. Now we can push that one back in with the sheath. Bring that down a bit. There we are. Okay, so that's that done. So I suppose we better go for a little tester first, hadn't we? So let me strip this side down, and then I'll solder it to these two out 12-volt ones, and give it another try. Okay, so I've done the same this end, only I've put an extra sheath over the top of the two to give it extra protection. So let's see how we get on. Let's plug it in, and I'm sure it's going to flicker, but we'll see how stupid it looks or not. Okay, there we go, flickering, but I don't know, what do you think? Silly or not? It's not supposed to flicker, but as it's an ornament in the shed, I think I can live with that. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I have found a place to hang it up. Just got to get the door on. I've got the little bar to go through the door, and I'll give this a clean up, a little bit of a grease, and we'll get that on, and that's it. Right, let's give that a nice shine now, and put some ACF 50 on that, give it a bit of rust protection. And so now, just the last little bit, let's hinge back in. Just have to tap that down a bit over me. Okay, got the hammer now. Let's just hope this will go down. Oh, sorry, just got a visitor a minute. Look, you don't see much of her in the winter. Look, Jenny's just arrived. Yeah, you come to see what Daddy's doing? You are, yeah. Anyway, back to the job in hand. Let's just get this in, hopefully. Oh. Nearly there. I'm just going to tap this down with a some sort of blunt thing, just to I don't hit this paintwork. So I'll just tap that down and come back to you. There we go. That's now gone all the way down, and hopefully this will close up. There we go. Lovely. Well, let's hang this up. I found a place to hang it, and we'll see what it looks like in the dark. Before we go, apologies for the stop-start on this. This has taken over 2 weeks, waiting for the chap to sandblast it. And also, once again, if anyone does have a spare lens, I'll be really grateful. Happy to pay for it. It's just, it'd be nice to get a new lens in there. This one's cracked, and as you know, it cut my finger the other day, but it's all back in there nice now. But if you have got a spare one, it's a long shot, but if you've got one, I'm happy to pay for that. So before I go, just one little thing, or just a couple of things I wanted to show you. Yeah, just wanted to say, I don't know if you remember, I've done this Direct Bikes sports model 50cc. I've been using it for the shops. It's been absolutely great. There's nothing wrong with it whatsoever, and I have decided to sell this one. As you know, I'm losing money through strikes on the railways and that, but what I've decided to do, which is the other way round now, I'm going to sell the Direct Bikes, and around here we've got the little orange Suzuki, and it has been running quite nicely in the garden the other day. I was just running up and down a bit. It's just a few little things to finish off, so I'm going to concentrate on doing that, and I'm deciding I'm going to keep that. So the top box, I'm hoping from the Direct Bikes will go on there, because it's pretty useless for shopping otherwise. And so that'll be for the local shops, hopefully when the weather gets a bit warmer. But it is a very smooth engine. As you know, we put a new piston in and things, and I've decided I'm going to keep that. Sod the government. Why do I want to get rid of all my sort of classic stuff? So that's the situation here. So we'll go back to the light now and see what it looks like. Well, there we go, all lights out now. It's not quite the flickering I expected, but oh well, it's Christmas. I think we can do with that. And let's just get the main lights back on again, if I can find them in the dark. There we go. So I'm just going to keep that. That's just going to be a shed ornament. As you know, we like classic things, and that just reminds me of 60s and 70s. So that's where it will stay. Well, I hope you did enjoy that little bit of classic memorabilia from the past. Not quite sure what to do next. People have asked me about the Pegasus, the Lexmotor Pegasus. Yeah, I've still got it. Obviously I'm not using it in this ice, but there's a few things I might be able to do with that. Still working on the Seat Ibiza, but due to the weather, that's come to a halt at the moment, and we're waiting to do my son's Scirocco. It turned out to be the whole gearbox needs to be replaced. I've got the new one in the conservatory, and a new clutch, or second-hand gearbox, should we say. So that needs to be done. It should have been done Monday, but my mechanic, who I give a hand to, he obviously didn't want to come out on Monday. It was snow on the ground and everything, so he's going to bring me later. Hopefully next week we can do that. But I hope you did enjoy this little one-off. Jenny's about, at least you did see her earlier on, but it's pitch black out there and freezing cold. So until the next time, you take care. We'll see you soon. Bye bye.